about these signs and to, inshallah ta'ala, strengthen our iman, or to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to strengthen our iman. And we ask Him subhanahu wa ta'ala to be pleased with us before we meet Him. First of all, these signs of the Day of Judgment are divided into three categories. One is signs that have already happened. They have already happened. That's one category. And the second one is signs that are happening now. Signs that are happening now. And the third one is signs that to be happen. Signs that will happen later on. Among these three categories, two are considered minor signs of the Day of Judgment. Minor signs of the Day of Judgment. And those minor signs are the one that already happened. And we'll give examples. And among the minor signs also are the ones that are happening now, And one category is major signs, which are the one that did not happen yet. Naam. I cannot. Yes, they're saying that parents, you are responsible for your kids. If they're outside, please make sure that you know where they are and you are responsible for that, please. So, going back to these three categories, we said two categories are considered minor signs. The one that already happened, one is, for example, the message of the Prophet ﷺ is one of the signs of the Day of Judgment, but it's a minor. And also the death of the Prophet ﷺ also is minor signs. That already happened. The Prophet ﷺ was sent, he lived, and he passed ﷺ. That is minor. And the examples of the signs that are happening and will continue happening and considered minor signs, we'll focus on those ones. Among those ones, ذهاب الصالحين. You will see the righteous people in each generation will be minor. You will have less righteous people. In each generation that comes after. And the proof of that, the Prophet ﷺ, he said, لا تقوم الساعة حتى يأخذ الله شريطته من أهل الأرض. The Day of Judgment will not come till Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will take the righteous people, the people that He loves the most. And these are the people with knowledge and implementation. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will take them. فيبقى منها عجاجة لا يعرفون معروفا ولا ينكرون منكرا. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala take the righteous people, people with knowledge and implementation, knowledge is not enough. But those people are the people who have knowledge and also implement the knowledge. And this is the divine knowledge. The Prophet ﷺ said, before the Day of Judgment, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will take those people. You will see, for example, among million people, you will find few people who are maintaining righteous knowledge and righteous implementation. And he said, there will be no righteous people among the people who are around. Those people, they will not be able to identify righteousness, good. They will not be able even to say this is good or this is bad. And if they reach that level, they cannot forbid evil or enjoy good. وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ. Then one of the minor signs of the Day of Judgment that we see today is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala taking the righteous people, and these are people with knowledge of the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. That's one. And the second one that is we cannot mention all of them, but the one that we know that are authentically narrated by the Prophet ﷺ. Number 2 is irtifa'ul asafil. Irtifa'ul asafil is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He elevates people based on criteria. And people also should be elevated based on their performance and their righteousness. But time will come that will change. A righteous person will be put down. A person of knowledge will put him down. And the opposite will put him up. The criminal will be on top. The evil will be on top. While the one who's qualified with knowledge and honor will be down. The Prophet ﷺ, he said في حديث أحمد رضي الله عنه قال أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه سمعت النبي عليه الصلاة والسلام يقول إنها ستأتي على الناس سنون خداعة يصدق فيها الكاذب. The Prophet ﷺ said, before the day of judgment, time will come where the person who is a liar will be accepted and people will believe in their lies. And a person who speaks the truth, وَيُكَذَّبُ الصَّادِقِ, and the person who speaks the truth will be denied, will be rejected. And we can almost attest to those things. We kind of like witnessing those kind of things. And number 3 will be أن تكون التحية للمعرفة فقط. The greeting will only be limited to the people that you know. The Muslims will be greeting one another based on who they know. And we were told in Islam, أن تسلم من تعرف ومن لا تعرف. To greet the one that you know and the one that you don't know. That is Islam. But the time will come where the people will greet the one that they know. And we see that even in our masjids. You come to the masjid, you know Abu Khalid, you say Assalamu alaikum Abu Khalid. You don't know the brother, you pass them. And that is an according sign of the day of judgment. That was not happening in the past, in the time of the Prophet ﷺ and his companions. The Prophet ﷺ, he said, إِنَّ مِنْ أَشْرَاطِ السَّاعَةِ أَنْ يُسَلِّمَ الرَّجُلُ عَلَى الرَّجُلِ لَا يُسَلِّمُ عَلَيْهِ إِلَّا لِلْمَعْرِفَةِ. He said, one of the signs of the day of judgment is a man will greet a person, a man will greet a man, a person, a Muslim will greet a Muslim for no reason except they know that person, except for knowing that person. So then this is a sign among the signs of the day of judgment. And the next one will be التماس العلم من الأصاغر, to take the knowledge from the people who are not qualified. الأصاغر هنا كما قال ابن كثير أي الذين لا يستحقون العلم. To take the knowledge from the people who don't have the knowledge, from the people who only talk. The Prophet ﷺ, he said, إن من أشراط الساعة ثلاثا إحداهن أن يلتمس العلم عند الأصاغر. He said, one of the signs of the 3 signs of the day of judgment, one of them is to seek knowledge from the person who isn't qualified for it. And we almost see that. Imam Abdullah ibn Mubarak, when he was asked about the definition of as-saghir, he said, الَّذِينَ يَقُولُونَ بِرَأِيهِمْ. And we know that now. People who only talk about the deen based on their intellect, based on their opinions. The deen is not opinions. The deen is based on revelation. He said, when people are talking based on their opinions, those people will attract the people to take the knowledge from them, while they will deny and reject the people who talk about the deen based on the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. He said, الَّذِينَ يَقُولُونَ بِرَأِيهِمْ فَأَمَّا صَغِيرٌ يُرْوَى عَنْهُ كَبِيرٌ فَلَيْسَ مُشْكِلَةٌ. If a person is young, they have enough knowledge, they have authentic knowledge, taken from them is not a problem. But when a person is not, regardless how old they are, if they are not teaching the people based on the Quran and the Sunnah, فَهَذَا صَغِيرٌ. That person is identified as little in Islam. And the Prophet ﷺ said, time will come, people will take knowledge from those people. And that's very dangerous. Because هَؤُلَاء ضَلُّوا وَيُضِلُّونَ. These people are misguided because they take the deen based on their understanding, and they will misguide people who take the knowledge from them. Now, he said also, one of the signs of the day of judgment that are occurring, are happening, ظهور الكاسيات العاريات. ظهور الكاسيات العاريات. You will see, and we see it now, women who are clothed, but at the same time naked. You see them, they have enough to put on to cover themselves, but at the same time, they are not covering themselves. And we see that. Like this money that they spend to buy those clothes can cover themselves. And in another definition, they think that they're putting something on, but not. And this is something that you live in Madison, Wisconsin, you drive in the middle of the summer to downtown, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So this is very dangerous. This also is a sign of the day of judgment, where you will see women who are clothed but naked. The Prophet ﷺ, he described those people. He said, those people, I did not see them yet. They will come. But we don't see them yet. But they will come, subhanallah. The Prophet ﷺ did not see them, but we saw them. But we are confirming what the Prophet ﷺ said 1400 years. And that's very important. He said, we're not here to warn people from that, yes. But he said those people will not even experience the smell of Jannah. They will not even experience the smell of Jannah. That means that they will not enter Jannah. Wal-'iyadhu billah. Then this is something that we experience, we see, and it's a sign of the day of judgment. Kama qala alayhi salatu wassalam. The next one will be صدق رؤيا المؤمن. صدق رؤيا المؤمن. The Prophet ﷺ said the day of judgment will not come till whatever a Muslim saw in their dream will become in their real life. In their real life. I don't know if that is now, but maybe that will come. That will come. That a Muslim will not see. اقترب الزمان. The Prophet ﷺ, he said, the zaman will be very close to each other. لم تكد رؤيا المسلم تكذب. He said, a dream of a Muslim will almost be, all the dreams will be almost be truth. Then this is something that I did not see. We have a lot of dreams, but not all of them are truth. But time will come whenever a Muslim see a dream, that will become true. And that's very important. But that one, we cannot confirm that till we experience that. And the ulama, they said, a Muslim will be seeing less, the Muslims will be having less dreams. But whatever they saw in their dream, it will happen. And also he said, alayhi salatu wasalam, of the sign of the day of judgment, كثرة الكتابة وانتشارها. A lot of writing everywhere. Like how many people are writing books today? There is no principle of writing a book anymore. There is no principle of writing a book anymore. There's no training to writing a book anymore. Like everybody, you know how many books are on Amazon? A lot. Everybody writes. Everybody writes books. So the Prophet ﷺ, he said, the books will be everywhere. Inna bayna yadi sa'a dhuhurul qalam. Dhuhurul qalam. That we have experienced, that we have seen that now. Everybody will write a book, and this is hadith sahih. Then, back in the days, one book will be written for years and years and years. And after that, will be given to so many people to authenticate the people who qualify. And after that, that book will be maintained, preserved, and people will learn from it. But nowadays, to be honest with you, it's not because of the knowledge. Sometimes it's because of the gain. The gain, either fame or wealth. For that reason, it's pushing people to write books. And that is very dangerous, because most of the books that we have, we don't read them. Or if we read them, we don't implement them. Then the Prophet ﷺ told us what is exactly happening right now, because it wasn't in his time, but he was given this information to tell us that time will come where you will find a lot of writing. And also, the Prophet ﷺ, he said, التهاون بالسنن التهاون بالسنن هذا ظاهر. The Prophet ﷺ said before the day of judgment, people will neglect the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. التي رغب فيها الإسلام. The sunnah that the Prophet ﷺ told the people to hold on to, people will neglect the sunnah. And people who talk about the sunnah also will be neglected. Then that's very important. We have experienced that today. You know, if you promote a sunnah, if you support a sunnah, if you preserve a sunnah, if you implement a sunnah, people will see you as it's too much. And if you bring a bid'ah, everybody will embrace that bid'ah. Then the Prophet ﷺ told us that before the day of judgment, people will neglect the sunnah. For example, you look at the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, a beard is a sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. Muslims who have beard, no offense to everybody, to anyone, but Muslims who are having a beard, if you compare them with the Muslims who don't have beard, you find nothing. It's like a drop in the sea. Like even having a beard become weird to some Muslims now, right? To some countries, some Muslim countries having a beard. This is sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. No Sahaba was narrated that they have cutting their beard, except if it is you hold it twice. Ibn Umar radiallahu anh, he's the only one who used to cut his beard, or he said that you can cut your beard after you hold it twice. But now there's a lot of battles, you know, with the beards, and sometimes you have them, you know. Some people, they just look at you like you're weird. Then it's not just the beard, the dress. The Prophet ﷺ, he said men should not have their clothes below their ankles, and that's been neglected. So then there will be people, or the Muslims will not be implementing the sunnah, but they will also neglect the sunnah so bad. And that is really happening right now. It's really, the Prophet ﷺ, one day, to show you how much he loved people to follow him ﷺ, because that's the deen. He was sent to save the people. He was with the خرج النبي عليه الصلاة والسلام مع الشيخ من أهل المدينة. He was walking with the people of Medina, all the people in Medina, and he was having a meeting with the Yahud. When he was going, the Sahabi said, الذين كانوا مع النبي عليه الصلاة والسلام بيض لحاهم. They have gray beard, all of them. When they met the Yahud, the Jews, when they met them, sit with them, the Prophet عليه الصلاة والسلام رأى اليهود كلهم بيض لحاهم. He saw the Yahud, they all have gray beard. There is no differentiation. The Yahud, they have beard, and the Muslims have beard, and they all gray beard. He said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, يا معشر الأنصار حمروا وصفروا خالف اليهود. He said, tint your beards. You have the same thing, tint them, make them yellow, make them whatever you want to make, but make sure that you have different beard. That's how the Prophet ﷺ was, at least to have that identity of a Muslim. But now I think, you know, comparing the men and the women, they carrying the identity of a Muslim way more than the men. Because you wear a qamis, you go out here, you take off your qamis, you wear like, that's it. No one will give you any identification of a Muslim. But the women, alhamdulillah, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala preserve them and protect them. Then there will be, before the day of judgment, people will neglect the sunnah of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. And you find sometimes, today, example, we have an event around the masjid. People will come to the masjid and go home without praying even 2 rak'ah to the masjid. The Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam said, إِنَّ مِنْ شَرْطِ السَّاعَةِ أَنْ يَمُرَّ الرَّجُلُ بِالْمَسْجِدِ لَا يُصَلِّي فِيهِ رَكَعَتَيْنِ. A person will come to a masjid to pick up something, will not pray even 2 rak'ah and go. I have seen it in my eye. You come to a masjid for a meeting, you go home without praying 2 rak'ah. You come to a masjid for an event, you go without praying rak'ah. That is a sign of the day of judgment. That was not known. If a sahabi come to a masjid for any reason, they will pray at least 2 rak'ah, because that is the sunnah. Then abandoning that is abandoning the sunnah of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, and that is one of the signs of the day of judgment. He said عليه الصلاة والسلام before the day of judgment كثرة الكذب نعم وعدم التثبت في نقل الأخبار. There will be a lot of lying. There will be a lot of lying. Now I think that also is very seen, is very appeared, is known now. People will be lying. And the Prophet عليه الصلاة والسلام was asked, هل يكذب المسلم? He said, لا. A Muslim cannot lie. He said, أيزن المسلم? He said, نعم. أيسرق المسلم? نعم. أيكذب المسلم? قال لا. A Muslim can steal. A Muslim can do zina. A Muslim can. Yes, they are not angels. They can do that. But he said a lie is intentional. A lie is intentional. You cannot lie. A Muslim cannot lie. But when you look at it, what is going on? People will lie in the morning. They will lie after Dhuhr. They will lie after Asr. They will lie after Maghrib, after Isha. Even they're sleeping, they're lying. It's too much lying everywhere. Then that is a sign of the day of judgment. وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ. The Prophet عليه الصلاة والسلام, he said, سيكون آخر أمتي أناس يحدثونكم ما لم تسمعوا أنتم ولا آباؤكم فإياكم وإياهم. The Prophet عليه الصلاة والسلام said, there will be people within my nation before the day of judgment. They will be talking to you about something that you have no idea. You have never heard from your parents. He said, please be warned from them and stay away from them. The next one is كثرة شهادة الزور وكتمان شهادة الحق. The Prophet عليه الصلاة والسلام said, one of the signs of the day of judgment is you will see a lot of false testimonies. A person who is seen that even the masjid, somebody will do something, you bring them and say, they did it. You say, no, they didn't do that. You testify wrongly. And then people will be hiding the truth based on the testimonials. So this is very dangerous. This is also a sign of the day of judgment. إِنَّ بَيْنَ يَدَيْ سَاعَةٍ شَهَادَةُ الزُّورِ وَكِتْمَانِ شَهَادَةِ الْحَقِّ. People will refuse to tell the truth when they are called to testify. And people will lie to protect somebody over something if they are called to testify. And that is also a very dangerous something that we also witness in our lifetime. Also the Prophet ﷺ said, كَثْرَةُ النِّسَاءِ وَقِلَّةُ الرِّجَالِ. Do the statistics and then see if that is, I think that's what we're living right now. He said before the day of judgment, women will be more than men. I think that's what they're telling us, right? Right? Women are more than men. The Prophet ﷺ said, before the day of judgment, the women will be more than men before the day of judgment. That's a sign. I want to mention something. Not all the signs are considered evil, but they are signs. Women being more than men is not evil. That's how it is. So not all the signs are, some of them are mentioned for a person to be alert, to know that these are the signs. Some of them are not bad, but some of them are really bad for a person to be warned not to be among the people who show people the signs of the day of judgment, such as lying or coming with a false testimony. Naam. He said, alayhi salatu wasalam, also, kathratu mawt al-mufaja'ah, mawt al-fuj'ah. The Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam said, there will be a lot of sudden death. There was no car. You know how many accidents happen? People die every single day. Like many people. Sudden death. Sudden death was not known back in the days. You will hear it one time, you will never hear it. Somebody was killed, the whole city will be terrified for that for years. Nowadays what happens? Like sudden death is everywhere. People are dying and you don't know what they're dying. They wake up in the morning, they drive and they die. Airplane crash and then they die. And then they use drugs, they die. Overdose, they die. And all those things. So there's a lot of sudden death everywhere that was not known in the time of the Prophet ﷺ or back in the days. Naam. He also said ﷺ, وقوع التناكر بين الناس. And this is something that we also know. وقوع التناكر بين الناس. People will not really know each other. people will not really know each other. Like there's a lot of, disguising between the people. You think you know Umar, it's not Umar. The next day you find a different Umar. The next day you see a different Umar. Back in the days, you know a person, you know them. But nowadays, the Prophet ﷺ is telling us that, that's why they said, جرب قبل أن تألف. I don't know if you have to use all that all the time. They said, test the person before you get used to them. Test the person before you get used to them. Because if you get used to them, it's a problem. When something happens, then it becomes a fitna to you. So nowadays, to know people is very difficult. It's very difficult. The Prophet ﷺ in this hadith, he said, you will be with a person for many, many years, but you still need to know them because you don't know them. Because you don't know them. And we see that it's happening. We have seen that's happening. Now, he's وقوع التناكر بين الناس أي عدم التعارف. التناكر بمعنى يعني تناكر. نعم وقوع التناكر. وقوع وقع يقع وقوعا أي حدوث التناكر. نعم وقوع التناكر. So people will not know each other. People will not know each other. Like I come, I know you, but I'm really not the same person that you think that I am. Right? So I'm disguising myself, and then the next day you find me doing something else. And this is very common nowadays. Some of you will come to the community, think that you are and they are a different person. The Prophet ﷺ, he said that will be happening now. And also, كثرة المطر وقلة النبات. There will be a lot of rain, but the nabat, the crops will not be producing better, will not be producing good. So that is something that we know. Maybe you're not a farmer, but where you used to farm, today you go there, it's nothing. The rain is coming more than what it used to be, but the production is very limited, and that is something that we have experienced. Now, and also some of them that didn't happen yet will be considered also minor, is كلام السباع والجمادات للإنس. Things like we'll be talking to people before the day of judgment. Like the tree will be talking to you. And this hadith, the Prophet ﷺ, إن من أمارات الساعة إن من بين يدي الساعة قد أوشك الرجل أن يخرج فلا يرجع حتى تحدثه نعلاه وصوته ما أحدث أهله من بعده. That's going to be dangerous. He said before the day of judgment, a person will go out and leave their family at home. Before they come home, the shoes that he's wearing will tell him what his family has done after he left. You don't need a camera when time comes. Yes, you don't need a camera. You go out, you just go out. You come home, your stick that you use, your pen that you use to write will tell you, oh, listen, before you go home, your family did this and this and this and this and this and that. I think that's beyond technology, right? That's beyond hidden cameras. They will explain to you what happens. They will explain to you exactly what happened before the day of judgment. So then there will be, informers within you. There will be people who will be informing. There will be nabatat, like the things, your shoes, your hat, your pen will be telling you before you go home, just to let you know that this and this what happened. So you don't have to hire anybody. Now, and also the animals will be talking to the people. The animals also will be talking to the people. The Prophet ﷺ said, وَالَّذِي نَفْسِي بِيَدِهِ لَا تَقُومُ السَّاعَةُ حَتَّى تُكَلِّمَ السِّبَاعُ الْإِنسِ. The Prophet ﷺ said, the day of judgment will not come till the wild animals will be talking to the people. Now, the Prophet ﷺ also said, one of the signs of the day of judgment, that this one that we mentioned may not happen yet, but also this one may not happen yet, but maybe it happened to some people. تَمَنِّ الْمَوْتِ مِنْ شِدَّةِ الْبَلَاءِ. This one, لَا يَنْطَبِعُ عَلَى الْجَمِيعِ. It's not like somebody will wish to die based on, the frequency of the fitna. Like you will be in a lot of trials and you will be in a position where you wish to die. No one wishes to die. And the Prophet ﷺ, he said, لَا يَتَمَنَّ أَحَدَكُمُ الْمَوْتِ. None of you should wish to die. But a person can be in a situation where they wish to die. He said, the Prophet ﷺ, Muslims will be in a situation where, most of them will wish to die because of the trial that they're facing. I know that Muslims are facing a trial right now, but it's not in a level where we wish to die. Even people who are directly affected with those calamities, they still, want to live, or they're still trying to live, or they still find ways to continue living. Now, the other one is, the Prophet ﷺ said, I don't know if this also is now or we have to wait for it, كَثْرَةُ الرُّومِ وَقِتَالُهُمْ لِلْمُسْلِمِينَ. He said, alayhi salatu wa كَثْرَةُ الرُّومِ وَقِتَالُهُمْ لِلْمُسْلِمِينَ. He said, the Romans will be many. The Romans will be many, and they will be fighting against the Muslims. And who are the Romans? The Romans, they are also descendants of Ibrahim alayhi salam. Ibrahim alayhi salam, he had a son whose name is Ismail, and the Arab, they came from Ismail. And he has Ishaq, the Yahud, they came from Ishaq, right? And Ishaq has Yaqub, and among the sons of Yaqub, one is the father of the Romans. And the Romans now are known as the Europeans. And they're all from they all came from Ibrahim alayhi salam. Now, so he said alayhi salatu wassalam, there will be a lot of Romans and they will also launch fights against the Muslims. But it doesn't mean that it's just based on the people, but it's going to be based on the faith that the Romans will have at that time. And also it's going to be based on where the Muslims are located. Muslims can be, occupying America or be in Europe. So it doesn't mean the location. It means the people who are from that ethnicity and also have a different faith than the Muslim, but fighting the Muslims. Now, another one that didn't happen yet, is minor, is نفي المدينة لشرارها. نعم. Medina, the city of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, will expel by itself all the evil people in Medina. Medina will disown every evil person who is in Medina, has to leave Medina. The Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam encouraged the people if they're able to go to Medina. And he said, Al-Madina khayrun lahum law kanu ya'lamun. Medina is best for the Muslims if they know what is in Medina. So then he encouraged the Muslims to migrate to Medina if they can. I know people who just want to migrate to Medina based on this hadith. But if you have means to migrate to Medina, the Prophet ﷺ said, migrate to Medina. Time will come, Medina will shake, and every munafiq, and every kafir, every evil person will run away from Medina. And the only people who will live in Medina are the righteous, pure people in Medina. And that will happen only in Medina. Only in Medina. What is behind it, I don't know, but I know for the fact that that is the place of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. That is the place that the Prophet loved the most alayhi salatu wasalam. That is the place that the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam was supported the most. That is the place that the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam said, I am from you, ya ma'ashara anhar and ansar, and you are from me. He attributed himself with the people of Medina, and he made the dua for the people of Medina, their descendants, alayhi salatu wasalam. And he died in Medina, he was buried in Medina, and he will be brought to life and the hereafter from Medina, alayhi salatu wasalam. Then Medina is a very important place. Naam. And he said, alayhi salatu wasalam, التقليد واتباع السنن الأمم الماضية. وهذا ظاهر الآن. To imitate and to follow the methods of the people before us. You know, people before us. Like right now, it's a lot of things that people look into Islam, but they'll put it around and they will take something that was there before. And that is something that is very also scary. And the Prophet ﷺ said a hadith that you will follow, you know, the people or the religion or the methodology of the people before you. And he was asked, who are those people? He said, you will follow the Yahud and the Christians. You will follow them. You will follow them. Now, they celebrate Christmas, we celebrate Christmas. The Muslim countries, they celebrate Christmas more than the Christians. We have trees everywhere. We have our towers, they light Christmas trees and everywhere. So that is a following the religion of the people before us. Because Christmas is not in Islam. But with the Prophet ﷺ telling us something we'll be doing, so he is telling us it's not good. But people among you will be doing it. Now. And he repeated alayhi salatu wasalam, and this is the most dangerous one, and it's happening. And the first one we said, neglecting the sunnah of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, but not denying it. But this one is rafdu sunnah an-nabawiyya, denying it completely. Denying it completely, the sunnah of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. He said this hadith, it is the scariest hadith. And this is a hadith that you sit on the TV and see a person today doing the same thing that the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam said 1400 years. He said alayhi salatu, يوشك أن يقعد الرجل متكئا على أريكته يحدث بحديث من حديثي فيقول بيننا وبينكم كتاب الله. He said, it's almost the time when a person will sit on their chair, big chair, like when you look at those, you know, shows when they put them to sit on those nice, beautiful like seats. He said that this person will be reminded about the hadith of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. A person will tell this person, the Prophet said this, and he will say, بَيْنَنَا وَبَيْنَكُمْ كِتَابَ اللَّهِ. He said, I cannot take the hadith. The only thing I accept is the Quran. We see this. The only thing I accept is the Quran. And the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, he said, the person will say, فَمَا وَجَدْنَا فِيهِ مِنْ حَلَالٍ اسْتَحْلَلْنَاهُ. This person will say, whatever is halal in the Quran, we'll accept it, we'll make it halal. وَمَا وَجَدْنَا فِيهِ مِنْ حَرَامٍ حَرَّمْنَاهُ. And whatever we find haram in the Quran, we'll make it haram. أَلَا وَإِنَّمَا حَرَّمَ رَسُولُ اللَّهِ مِثْلَ مَا حَرَّمَ اللَّهِ. The Prophet ﷺ said, whatever the Prophet forbidden is exactly what Allah forbidden. Because the Prophet cannot contradict with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because Allah is the one who sent him. And we have people who are called Quraniyun, and they're very famous, they're very common. They're here in medicine here. You tell them something, they tell you, no. If you find me a hadith or dalil from the Quran, I'll accept it. I bring you a sunnah, a hadith, you say no, on the Quran. It happens here in Masjid al-Sunnah here. After khutbah, somebody will come to me and say, oh, Shaykh, what you said is wrong. I bring you a hadith, you said, how about Quran? I just be quiet because I cannot argue with that person or debate with that person. Imam Ahmad rahimahullah used to say, I can debate with 1,000 scholars, but I cannot debate with one person who is ignorant. And that's what I implement. If I know that you are ignorant, I don't debate with you. Because if you tell me that give me only ayah, then give me a hadith, and I know what the Prophet ﷺ said about you, then I'm going to move on. I'm going to move on. Then that will be happening, and we experience that. The Quran and the Sunnah, they have to be together for the deen to be complete. Only Quran cannot be a deen. The deen is based on the kitab and the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, because the Prophet ﷺ was brought to clarify to us what is in the Quran. No one can understand the Quran except you go through the sunnah. One simple example, the salah. You will not find pray 5 times a day. Pray dhuhr 4 raka'at. Pray asr 4 raka'at. Where can you find it? From the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. Then the deen cannot go without the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. And also, تداعي الأمم على الأمة الإسلامية. All the nations will come together, ally to one another, support one another against the Muslims, against the nation of the Islam. I think some of those introductions happening. You know, Muslims cannot come together, but others are coming together, and Muslims can be touched, but others cannot be touched. Right? You touch a Muslim, nothing happens, and then you touch others, something happens. So this is also the Prophet ﷺ said this in his hadith. Naam. So these are the minor signs. We said that the signs of the Day of Judgment, some of them already happened. Second one is the minor ones, and I brought only few of them, the minor ones that we can see. And you can find, for example, some of the minor ones, مثلا أن ترى الحفاة الرعاة يطعنون بالبنيان, right? You see the Bedouin, people who are known as Bedouin people will be competing, in the world who has tall buildings. That doesn't mean that to build tall buildings is bad, but it will happen. If you go to most of the Arab countries who are considered as Bedouin, like UAE, like Dubai, it's like in the 50s or 60s, they were Bedouins. But today they have the tallest building in the world, right? So that is not a problem. It's good, but it's a sign of the Day of Judgment. That is not a problem. We should compete to build, high, towers, and that's a problem. But it's a sign of the Day of Judgment. It's a sign of the Day of Judgment. That doesn't mean that they should not be building those ones. They should be building it. It's just they shouldn't be using it to decorate for Christmas. It should not happen. Now these are the minor signs. The major signs, these ones, they didn't happen yet. None of them happen yet. If they start happening, nothing can stop it. It's going to happen. The next one will happen. The next one will happen. The next one will happen till the Day of Judgment. And these are 10 signs of the Day of Judgment. These 10 signs are very scary. The Prophet ﷺ, he mentioned these 10 in the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. We'll start with Al-Mahdi, Khuruj al-Mahdi. Khuruj al-Mahdi, Al-Mahdi is a person. Mahdi is a person who will be a descendant of the Prophet ﷺ. And I want to give an overview about Mahdi, because we have a lot of Mahdis, who claim that they are Mahdis everywhere. We have everywhere. We have the old Masjid al-Sunnah, in Hammersly, we had one who came to me after Fajr in the snow, very snoring. He said, "I'm Mahdi." I said, two Mahdis. We had two Mahdis. One of them is the brother from overseas, and one of them was from here. And I asked them, and the reason why we want to at least give an overview of this, so you understand this knowledge, and you can, because some of them came and misguided many people. But we have to understand Mahdi. So first, the Prophet ﷺ, he said, "Mahdi minni." Al-Mahdi minni. Mahdi is from me. It's from me. What does that mean? Wasmuhu kasmi. And his name is going to be like my name. Wasmu abihi ismu abi. And his father's name is going to be like my father's name. That hadith clarified a lot of things. If somebody comes and says, "I'm Mahdi," ask them, "What is your name?" The one that told me they are Mahdi, they are from the Spanish, they're Muslim Spanish, but I asked them, what is your name? They told me their name. I said, but Mahdi has to have, his name has to be Muhammad ibn Abdullah. Muhammad, the son of Abdullah. He said, no, my name in Spanish means Muhammad ibn Abdullah. I said, I don't speak Spanish, but when I translate it, it doesn't mean that. So they have to find a way out of it, right? And the other one, his name was not Muhammad ibn Abdullah, right? So first, it has to be Muhammad ibn Abdullah. So Mahdi is not the name. Mahdi is the sifa, is his attribute, Mahdi. And he is going to be directly related to the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. How? The Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam did not have any child who has children that had children except one, Fatima, radiallahu anha. All the boys, none of them has a child. Abdullah, Ibrahim, and Qasim, they all died in a young age. So none of them has children. Ruqayya, Fatima, Ruqayya, Kulthum, and Zainab. Right? Who was married to Uthman? Ruqayya and Kulthum. They were married to Uthman radiallahu anhu. Fatima was married to Ali radiallahu anhu. Ruqayya, Zainab was married to, I forget the husband, but didn't have children. But Ruqayya has a child, Uthman radiallahu anhu, but when he was very young, naqarahu dik. A rooster poked him on his face, and the face swallowed, and he died. Fatima radiallahu anha had 3 children, Hussein and Hassan and Muhassin. They have different names for Muhassin, but he died as a baby. Hussein and Hassan lived. They had children that had children that had children. Only Hussein and Hassan, among all the children of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, only Hussein and Hassan from Fatima radiallahu anha had children that had children. The rest, they don't have it. And subhanallah, it's amazing. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he took all the children of the Prophet alayhi salatu in his life. All of them, they died while he was alive, except Fatima. That's why the Nazim, he said, وَكُلٌّ فِي حَيَاتِهِ ذَاقُ الْحِمَامِ وَفَاطِمَةٌ بَعْدَهُ بِنِصْفِ عَامٍ. All of them, they died in his life, alayhi salatu wasalam. All his children. Qasim died when he was young in Mecca. Abdullah died when he was in Mecca. Ibrahim died in Medina, and the rest, all of them died in Medina. They died in Medina. And Fatima radiallahu anha died after the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam 6 months. That's why he said, وَفَاطِمَةٌ بَعْدَهُ أي بعد موت النبي عليه الصلاة والسلام بنصف عام. كل في حياة ذاق الحمام. All of them died in his time except Fatima. She died 6 months after the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. So then, when the Prophet says, Al-Mahdiyu minni, Mahdi is from me, then Mahdi has to come directly from the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, because the household of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam is wide. Anyone who goes with the Prophet alayhi salatu to Hashim is among the house of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. They are among the Al-Bayt. They are among the Al-Bayt. But when he says minni, that means that from me directly. And the only one who's from the Prophet alayhi salatu directly is Hussein and Hassan and their children. Not the children that Ali has with Ali's children with his other wives are not among directly of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. They're also among the Al-Bayt because they meet with the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam in Banu Hashim, in Hashim. Now, we only have 2 left, Hussein and Hassan. Where Mahdi is going to come from? From Hussein or from Hassan? From Hussein or from Hassan? There's a debate among the Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah and the Shia. Naam. So the Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah, and this is where we can compromise. Anyways, it has to be only Hussein or Hassan. And Hussein and Hassan, many people they think that they're twins. They are not. Hussein and Hassan, they are not twins. Hassan is older than Hussein 1 year. Hassan is older than Hussein 1 year. They are not twins. So, Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah, they say that it's from Hussein. It's from Hassan. It's from Hassan. Hassan has more children. Hassan married a lot. And he had a lot of children. Radiallahu anhu. Hussein has children, but most of them were killed in Karbala, but not all of them. So they all have descendants. So Mahdi is going to directly come from Hussein. But let's say, in this case, we can definitely compromise with people who say from Hassan. Either from Hassan or from Hussein is the same. Because these are the only two direct descendants of the Prophet ﷺ. And they are brothers. Hussein ibn Ali. Wa ummuhu Fatima. Man Abu Fatima? Muhammad ﷺ. That's the important thing. Hussein's father is Ali. Hussein's mother is Fatima. Who's Fatima's father? Is Muhammad ﷺ. You do the same thing on Hassan. The same thing on Hassan. So Mahdi is not going to be somebody that is far from, like only the household of the Prophet ﷺ, but he is going to be directly from the Prophet ﷺ. That is one thing you should know. And his name is going to be also Muhammad. And his father's name is going to be Abdullah. So his name is going to be Muhammad ibn Abdullah. Then no one is going to come to us and say, oh, my name is Alhaige, I'm Mahdi. We tell you, no, you disqualify. My name is Ra'ad, no, you disqualify. My name is Ahmad, you disqualify. My name is Uzair, the one who came, he said, his name was Uzair. Uzair, la, that's not you. Mahdi has to be Muhammad ibn Abdullah. Subhanallah, the Prophet made it very clear. So how many Mahdis will come? The reason why people and the Muslims, we should not be waiting for Mahdi. Anyways, Mahdi will come. But in the past, there were many heroes that were called Mahdi because they saved the Muslim from a situation. And people just are waiting for Mahdi. Right now, I wish Mahdi to come because we are going through a lot of pain, right? But I cannot force Mahdi to come. Mahdi has a specific time where it's going to come. That's why there's a study that the Muslim scholars did. They said many people who claim to be Mahdi and ittirabat nafsiyya, they have some mental issues. And also a mental issue that is based upon emotions of what is going on through the Muslims. And when that happens, they want it to be the saviors. They don't want to be a hero, but they want to save something. They want to hide behind the pain that they have to solve a problem. But it's a mental issue. Then most of them, and the one that I saw, here the two that I witnessed, they both end up in mental institutions. They both end up in mental institutions. One, we had to call the crisis to take them to the mental institution because it was too much. And the other one, he came to me after Fajr, he said, I want to go with me. I bought a horse, and Abdullah, you know what I'm talking about? I bought a horse, white, and I want to ride with me. I said, for what? So he told me, لِتَكُونَ عِنْدِي كَمَثَابَةِ هَارُونَ لِمُوسَى. He said, so you can be, for me, like Harun to Musa. Musa was a prophet. He asked Allah to make Harun his brother to be a prophet. So Harun was next to Musa in prophecy. So he wanted me to be his Mahdi assistant. I said, I don't think so I can do that. It was cold, number one. I was snoring, number one, I have to go home. He convinced me, and I said, no, I'm not going to do that. So, I think I was not lucky to be Mahdi assistant at that time. But anyways, he ended up being so this is not just here, but we have many Mahdis. And they're all fake Mahdis. The real Mahdi will come, and it will be a time the Prophet ﷺ said, no one will have doubt about him. All the Muslims will come to him and he will lead the Muslims. And not just the Mahdi is a problem. You said there is people who claim prophecy. Still they claim prophecy. In the past, in the time of the Prophet ﷺ, there is a person who called himself a prophet, who claimed prophecy. Musaylima al-Kadhab. Musaylima, he claimed a prophecy, and he was killed after the Prophet ﷺ by the Muslims. And others, others claim a prophecy, and lately we have many of them who claim prophecy in the past, and we have a famous one who is from India, Mirza Ghulam Ahmad, the initiator of the Tariq al-Qadiyaniyah, the Ahmadis, the Qadianis, also he claimed to be a prophet. All these are called, al-Mutanabbi'in, and they are called people who claim to be prophets, but they are not prophets. The recent most effective one is Mirza Ghulam Ahmad, the one who wrote this book, who initiated this group that's called Al-Qadiyaniyah. They have a very strong lobby in America here. They represent Muslims almost everywhere, but they are not Muslims because they destroyed the most important principle in Islam, which is Khatim al-Nubuwah. The Prophet ﷺ is the seal of the prophecy. The seal of the prophets, and there will be no prophet after the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. Anyone who claimed to be a prophet, then you will put it in that book, which is the book of the liars who claim to be prophets. So that I'm emphasizing that because it's very famous. They have a masjid in one of the towns in Wisconsin here. They are very active in the jail system. They do a lot of books, a lot of seminars. But the ulama agreed that those people are not Muslims, and they are called Qadiyaniyah, and they have another name Ahmadiyya, and they are not Muslims. Now, so the Prophet ﷺ, he said, Mahdi will come. So before Mahdi comes, there will be a lot of fights between the Muslims, non-Muslims, and the Muslims will be searching for a leader, looking for a leader to lead them. But before Mahdi, there will be more people that accept Islam more than ever, from the Yahud and the Nasara, more than ever. Before the coming of the year, there will be a lot of people who accept Islam more than ever. That is the beginning of khair. That is the beginning of goodness, because there will be before him a lot of fights, a lot of bloodshed. But his coming will be a stop for all those things. Will be a stop for all those things. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will bless the Muslims and will bless anyone that is on earth in his time. In his time. The hadith of Prophet ﷺ said, Mahdi will be, when Mahdi comes, وَتَسْتَقِرْ لَهُ الْأُمُورِ, and the Muslims will pledge their allegiance to Mahdi, to be their leader, to be their Khalifa. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, from that moment, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will tell the earth to bring its goodness. Because we said one of the signs and minor signs is that there will be a lot of rain but less production. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will tell the earth to produce all the good that is in the earth. He said, the Prophet ﷺ, he said, till a Muslim will be having their sadaqah. Zakah, no one is going to take a zakah anymore. Their sadaqah, and search for a person to give it to. They will say, no, I don't need it. You go left, you go right, you go west, you go east with your sadaqah. No one needs it. No one needs your zakah. That's how good things are going to be when Mahdi comes. It will be even better when Isa ibn Maryam comes. But Mahdi will come, and he will be in the same time with Isa ibn Maryam. And Mahdi will be leading the Muslims at that time. So the Prophet ﷺ, he said, وَهَذَا الرَّجُلْ أي المهدي اسمه كاسمي أي كاسم رسول الله عليه الصلاة والسلام. His name will be like my name. واسم أبيه كاسم أبي. And his father's name will be like my father's name. إذن فيكون اسمه محمد أو أحمد. I can take that. I can take Ahmad. If you come and say Ahmad, I'm Ahmad ibn Abdullah, I can take you. But if you come Uzair ibn Uzair, I cannot take you because it's not even relevant. Okay? Then the ulama, they said his name can be Muhammad or Ahmad. And no problem with that because Muhammad, his name also is Ahmad. And that is in the Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in Surah Al-Jumu'ah, Muhammad. You're in Surah Al-Jumu'ah, you're in Surah Al-Saf, right? You pass Saf. Did he pass Saf? Oh, he didn't memorize Saf. Okay, I want to test him, but he didn't memorize Saf. Naam. لا سورة الصف. نعم. وإذ قال موسى يا قوم لم تؤذون قد تعلموا أني رسول إليكم. نعم. وإذ قال عيسى ابن مريم يا بني إسرائيل إني رسول إليكم مصدقا لما بين التوراة ومصدقا بين يدي التوراة وبشرا برسول يأتي من بعد اسمه أحمد. Allah made it very clear. And if you go around, Isa, when he came, he told his people, I'm giving glad tidings for a prophet to come. And his name is going to be Ahmad. Then if Mahdi comes and says, I'm Ahmad, or if we have a Mahdi in Mahdi who says, I'm Ahmad, I will say, check. If he say, my father is Abdullah, then we can evaluate him, right? But if he say Ahmad ibn Alhaige, I'll say, no, brother, you go. Right? But about Mahdi, there will be no doubt to Muslims about this man who's Mahdi when he comes. The Muslims will identify him, will know him, will accept him. That's why he said, وهو من ذرية فاطمة بنت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم ثم من ولد الحسن بن علي والحسن بن علي. لكن هنا أهل السنة والجماعة جزموا على أنه من أولاد الحسن ابن علي رضي الله عنهم أجمعين. Before Mahdi comes, that will be eliminated. Yes, they will be coming together. There will be no Shia, is all going to Sunnah. Yes, that will be and we'll come to that because at that time, Muslims will have no differences. That's the reason why it's very important for Muslims to understand that there are people who have to stand upon the truth. And the truth is the Sunnah. Because the Prophet ﷺ, he said, there will be people all the time who will remain upon the truth. And that is the root of the truth that will be protected and grow till it covers every Muslim. Because al-haqq ablaj, the truth will always rise and the false will always go down. And that's very important. So when Mahdi comes, there will be no tawa'if. There will be no groups. The Muslims will come together. The Muslims come together, and of course, who are upon the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ are the leaders at that time. And these are the people who will teaching. And when we come to Dajjal, which is the next, you will see that, that will Dajjal expose a lot. Because people who will follow Dajjal are going to be the people. I don't want to say anything, that will, but there will be people, or there will be Yahud of Asfahan or Asbahan. And you know what Asfahan is? نعم أصفهان نعم. وين أصفهان الآن؟ من إيران. إذا هناك شيء لا نعرفه. So it will be 70,000 his right hands are going to be 70,000 from the Yahud of Asfahan. And Asfahan today is in Iran. Right? So that tells us a lot. And we don't want to point fingers, but this is not something we say over public. It's a prophecy. There's a prophet who said that. So why those 70,000 are going to follow him? And people around them are going to follow him. We don't know. But at the end of the day, everything is going to be resolved by coming together as the Sahaba they were under the Prophet ﷺ. At the time of the Prophet, there was no sects, there was no groups. When Mahdi comes, there will be no sects, there will be no groups. Muslims will be under one leadership, aqidatan, in their aqidah, also under one leadership, in their implementations. There will be no all the sects or groups. Now, that will be gone. All the sects and the groups will be solved, before the coming of the Mahdi or the time of Mahdi, radiyallahu anhu. Oh, Allah yahfadhu عندما يأتي لنا. نعم. Ten, yes. Yes. Yeah, tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow we continue this?
Yes.
Okay, so since we're going to continue tomorrow, the Mahdi is one of the 10?
Mahdi was one of 10, yes. The first one, there is no hadith that gives us the exact order of the signs, but Mahdi will be the first one. Mahdi will be the first one. And all of them are going to be like this. When Mahdi comes, they say, wait, then of course Isa will come, Dajjal will come, Isa will come, and all those things, they will come. Ya'juj and Ma'juj and Dabba, Dukhan, and all those things will come. But we'll cover those things. But Mahdi is very important for us to know. And not Masih Dajjal. Because Mahdi, there's so much claims about Mahdi who is coming right now. So the Prophet ﷺ, he explained the fights that will happen between the Muslims and others. And he said that people who are not Muslim will accept Islam more than ever when Mahdi comes. And there are so many proofs that the Prophet ﷺ said Mahdi will be doing on this earth. He is going to be a very important person where the Muslims will accept. Muslims will accept him. That's very important. And he's going to be a very fair person. He's going to be very righteous, very kind. But he is not a Sahabi, but he will have something that no Sahabi has. He will have something that no Sahabi has before. And only him will have it in this ummah, in this ummah, which is leading a prophet. Leading Isa. While he is not sick, nothing happened to him. Because the Prophet Ali was led by Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, but li'illah. The Prophet led Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, but the Prophet was sick. He wasn't able to do it. He was sick. Alayhi salatu wassalam. But in this case, Mahdi will be led by Isa ibn Maryam will be led by Mahdi. And there will be a prophet who will be implementing our deen. The reason why Mahdi will be leading Isa ibn Maryam, because Isa wasn't giving the Quran. And when Quran comes, nasakha jami' al-kutub. When Quran came, it abrogated all the books before. Fi salah. Na'am, fi salah. In prayer. And the leadership between Mahdi and Isa is going to be like this. It's going to be like this. Mahdi is going to spend only 7 years. And Isa is going to spend more than that. So, but Mahdi is going to be like what he has something in the ummah that no one will have, which is to lead Isa ibn Maryam in the prayer. In the prayer. That's a very, very important thing. And Mahdi will be able to lead all the Muslims at that time that no one has before. No one has before. The Muslims will be bigger in numbers than ever. And they will be led by Mahdi in all their battles, in all their activities, and have one direction. Since after the Prophet ﷺ, since الطيور على أشكالها تقع, one of the signs of the Day of Judgment, أن تسلم من تعرف فقط. Right? شفت كيف؟ دخل الرجال سلم على أبيه وعمه وخرج. أنا أعرفه جدا، لكن بس نريد أن أن نستشهد عما تعلمناه الآن. We want to have evidence that he came, he saw the sheikh, he saw Ra'ad, he didn't give salam to anybody, he went to his ammu and he gave salam to him and he went out. Isn't this a proof? Habibi. Yes, it happens. So then that's a proof. Now. هو عندما يدخل الإنسان والشيخ يتحدث إذا كان في المسجد يصلي ركعتين ويجلس بدون يقاطع نعم، لكن هو تحدث. ها؟ نعم. بس هو مازح هو يعني. I just want to joke with him and also bring evidence that the Prophet ﷺ said, time will come, the greeting will be based upon the one that you know. And if we implement this, even in the masjid, we should not. You come, like for example, for me, sometimes when I don't wear my qamis, and this is evidence, I don't have my qamis, I wear my soccer, outfits, and I'm in the making a wudu, for example, somebody will come and pass me, make a wudu, come out past me, and we meet in this surak, and then, Shaykh, assalamu alaikum, that's you. You see? So you're making a salam alaikum because of the Shaykh, right? So he didn't say salam to me when I was making wudu because he think that wasn't me. So he didn't know me, he didn't say salam to me. So when I came out, he looked at me, Shaykh, that's you? Assalamu alaikum. It reminds me of the hadith of Prophet ﷺ. So it should be, the Prophet ﷺ said, we should be giving salam to one that we know and the one that we don't know. And of course, if the person is in the masjid, they are Muslim. Even if they are Muslims, say salam to them. Assume that they are Muslims and say salam to them, inshallah. Yes, I want to just emphasize on that. Adhan? Now, so tomorrow, inshallah, we'll cover the 10, inshallah. Today we'll cover the minor ones, and I want to repeat, we said the signs of the Day of Judgment are divided into 3. One is the one that already happened, and one of the examples is the death of the Prophet ﷺ and his prophecy ﷺ. And the second is the one that are happening. And this is what we mentioned those ones, the one that are happening, just like the greeting, right? And the one that didn't happen yet. And all the 2 are minor. The major ones are 10, and they will happen. And the first to start is Khuruju al-Mahdi, the coming of Imam al-Mahdi, كما يقول أهل العلم رضي الله عنه. نعم. تفضل.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمد محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
So the Prophet ﷺ, he commanded the Muslims, no one, the Prophet ﷺ commanded the Muslim to follow except Mahdi after him. After him, after the Khulafa al-Rashidin. But the Prophet ﷺ, he said, فَإِذَا رَأَيْتُمُوهُ فَبَايِعُوهُ وَلَوْ حَبْوًا عَلَى الثَّلْجِ فَإِنَّهُ خَلِيفَةُ اللَّهِ الْمَهْدِي. He said, ﷺ, if you see him, al-Mahdi, he said, accept him, pledge your allegiance to him, even if you have to scroll on the snow, on the ice. You accept him, and then you pledge your allegiance to him, because he's the Khalifatullah al-Mahdi, and he's Mahdi. So, aqadiyan, within our faith, is to accept the leadership of Imam al-Mahdi is part of our faith. So whenever he comes, a Muslim to remain in their deen, in their religion, is to accept him and to be under his leadership. That's very, very important. And he is the only one that Allah, the Prophet ﷺ, gave us this after the Khulafa al-Rashidin. Even the Khulafa al-Rashidin, he didn't mention them by names. But Mahdi was specified, and the Prophet ﷺ told us to follow him. نعم. لا يظهر بالشام. سؤال. Okay, tomorrow inshallah Masih al-Dajjal, and we go to Nuzul Isa ibn Maryam, and then we move to Ya'juj and Ma'juj, and then we talk about the 9 signs of the Day of Judgment, inshallah. Jazakumullah khair, baraka feekum, wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. أسأل الله سبحانه وتعالى أن يجعل هذا الجمع جمعا مرحوما وتفرقنا بعد تفرقا معصوما. أسأل الله سبحانه أن في مقامنا هذا من لا غفره، وأن يجمع بين قلوبنا ويحفظ من كل سوء وشر، وما ذلك على الله بعزيز جل وعلا بالإجابة الجدير. وصلى الله على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين، والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. question. Does Mahdi know, or will he know that he is directly from Hussein or from Hassan? Yes. This is where he will tell us. He's directly either from Hussein or from Hassan, but he's from Hassan. It's authentically narrated as from Hassan. And he will tell the people. And the good thing about that time, there will be no contest between, because what they wanted to do is, like, if I hold on to Hassan and another group hold on to Hussein, they're from the same mom and dad. Almost like they're almost from the same mom and dad. But when he comes, he will tell us he's directly from Hassan. Yes, he's directly from Hassan. Now, that's a good question.